This Sunday is the 66th running of the Daytona 500 and the start of the 2024 NASCAR Cup Series season. It's NASCAR's Super Bowl, y'all. Their biggest race of the season, and we're going to break it all down with NASCAR writer and content manager for NASCAR.com, Zach Sturniolo. Zach, thanks for hopping on with us, man. We got a couple days until we hear The Rock say the famous words, "Gentlemen, start your engines." Maybe not in that way, but I wanted to kind of outdo The Rock. He's got I set the bar high on that one. But first things first, the dual races were Thursday night. Tyler Reddick won duel 1. We saw a big crash in dual race 2 involving defending Cup champ Ryan Blaney. Christopher Bell went on to win duel 2. So those dual races have pretty much set the field for this Sunday. What's your initial thoughts on how the drivers looked racing in a pack for the first time this season?
I thought we saw exceptional racing on Thursday night. Really, those dual races can sometimes, one is often either calm or chaotic, and the second one is typically the opposite. Last night, we saw 2 exceptional races between those 20-some-odd cars in each duel. Jimmy Johnson really had to work his tail off, 7-time NASCAR Cup Series champion and Hall of Famer, to get himself locked into the Daytona 500. Did so really right at the last lap, despite being involved in a late crash just in last night's duels. Tyler Reddick goes on to win that race. There was a lot of aggressive racing, which I think is encouraging for what we could see Sunday afternoon in the Daytona 500. Obviously, a big hit for Ryan Blaney. He will have to go to the rear of the field in a backup car, as will Kyle Busch. Both of them are looking for their first Daytona 500 championships. It's going to put these guys in a tough spot to start the race, but anything can happen once we get to the 200-lap feature on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, the drama and the entertainment of the dual races pretty much set the tone for this upcoming season. And coming into this 2024 season, manufacturers like Toyota and Ford debut new race bodies to help improve aerodynamics and to compete better with, surprise, surprise, Chevy Camaro. How's that process been for race teams heading into Sunday?
Well, I think we got our first real taste of it on Wednesday night in single-car qualifying of Joey Logano and Michael McDowell, both driving new Ford Dark Horse Mustangs, end up on the front row. They will start first and second on Sunday afternoon. And the Fords had speed by themselves, but the Toyotas, on the other hand, they lacked that speed. That's why Jimmy Johnson was in he had to qualify his way in the race last night instead. But we saw last night that the Toyotas were able to charge to the front of the field. They swept the duels with Christopher Bell and Tyler Reddick going to victory lane, and they will start 3rd and 4th respectively on Sunday. So these Toyotas, they don't have a ton of speed by themselves, but once they get in traffic, it seems like they've got the speed to contend, and they might end up back in victory lane on Sunday in the Daytona 500.
Man, just looking at those cars, man, I couldn't be one of those people in those cars because I'm that passenger driver. I mean, I'm that passenger that's like, dude, you're doing 65 in a 65, you're going too fast. The way those cars look, that's why I Uber, my man. So let's talk about Sunday. The Daytona 500 will be run on Sunday, weather permitting, please. Joey Logano will lead them to the green flag. What should we look forward to seeing, and who will be up front, do you think, in the final laps?
Well, I think for sure we're going to see a lot of aggressive moves. I think early we might see some single file racing just as these guys try to save fuel, figure out where their cars are handling best. But it won't be long before we see them side by side again, and maybe even 3 wide as they save that fuel. You get it into a line, you can save fuel a little bit easier, be at about 70% throttle as opposed to put flat on the ground. Those strategies are really going to mix up what the running order that we see throughout this 200-lap race. I honestly expect Brad Keselowski in that number 6 RFK Racing Ford to be a contender in this race. He is the 2012 NASCAR Cup Series champion. He has led the most laps in this race each of the last 2 years, but he's still looking for that elusive Daytona 500 championship. There's a really good chance, I think, that he comes away with that on Sunday.
Very interesting. That's a name to definitely keep our eyes on. 36 race season. We got a long season ahead of us with a 10-race playoff in September. Give us your Final 4 predictions for Phoenix.
It's a long ways away. We got a lot of racing between now and November. But there's a lot we took away from last year. And honestly, I think some people who were there last year will be back. I think there will be some familiar faces that missed it last year that will return. I think Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano, and William Byron will be our championship for this year in the NASCAR Cup Series. William Byron had a series best 6 wins in 2023. Joey Logano is a 2-time champion. Denny Hamlin, 51 career wins and has never won the championship. That is the one hole on his resume. And Ryan Blaney, obviously, the defending series champion. There is a lot at stake for all 4 of those drivers. Joey Logano really seems to have a chip on his shoulder already this season. He finished second at the Clash a couple of weeks ago in Los Angeles, and now is on the front row for the Daytona 500. He won the Daytona 500 back in 2015. And if he wins on Sunday, he locks himself into the playoffs already, in which case, if that 22 team can get all the way to Phoenix, watch out. I think he can win this championship.
All right. It all goes down Sunday at 2:30 p.m. on Fox. Zach, man, thanks for hopping on with us.
I appreciate it, Brandon. Thank you.